Good morning, everyone. This is Lola, and I am getting ready to do my Facebook Live. Glad that you're joining us. It always takes a few seconds for me to get everything pulled up. So I've got to get it up in my iPad. We are going to do a beautiful card today using a stamp set that is from the mini holiday catalog. It's called Sparkle of the Season. And it is, this was my first time to play with it, and I just love it. So let me find my group page here. So our granddaughters were here this weekend, and they had both of my iPads, and they were going to town on them. So now, hopefully I have enough juice. I should have, but I just have to find it. There we are. Found it. Okay, so last week, technology was not going to let me see any comments or anything like that. So hopefully this week it will allow me that. Boy, you've got quite a glare from the window there. Sorry. When, I'll move it over a little bit. When I turn it down, then you'll lose that sun shining in. So we worked around the house. Most of you know that Jim had his hip replaced end of August, and it has been a slow process for him, slower than he wanted it to be, recovering. And so we're getting there. And I noticed he took off today on his four-wheeler this morning. So that's a good sign. He did that last Friday, and then he paid for it later in the day. Hey, Sandy, I'm glad to know you're here, Sandy. So now I know I've got comments coming. Still not getting them on my iPad, but hopefully they'll pull up here in a little bit. If we have to, we'll switch iPads, because I really do like the comments, just so I can see who's here. Comments off. Comments, there we are. Hey, Jamie, so glad you're here with us today, too. So, he took off on his four-wheeler this morning, and so that's a good sign. He did it on Friday when the kids were here, and, yeah, he paid for it later in the day, but we're getting better. And so, hey, Darla, you did do it. You made it. Darla and I have been texting back and forth. She's been trying to find the lives and only gets the recording. So we made sure she got it this morning. Good to have you with us, ladies. So anyhow, he is improving, and I thank you for your prayers. I would appreciate a few more, because it's been a slower process, like I said, than what he thought it would be. And he's kind of been discouraged a little bit. So, and it didn't help that, he hasn't been able to go to the Chiefs games, and it didn't help that they lost again yesterday. What a pathetic game. So anyhow, we move on. So let me turn this down and let's get started, because this is always going to be, these are not going to be a long ones like Pam and I do on Tuesday night. We don't ever plan to do them that long. It just happens that we obviously, we're a 1 hour, not a sitcom. We're 1 hour shows. Anyhow, this is my card, and I want to show you a couple of things too. If you had signed up, this card. If you signed up for the real simple card kit that I did, I've just finished cutting everything. Everything is packaged, and the recording has been done. I haven't sent your notifications out. I'm waiting for the order. The order should come in, I think, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then it'll be in on Wednesday, and by Wednesday night, we'll be ready to pick up. So this card kit, for those of you that ever order these are simple cards. Fast, basic greetings, DSP with die cuts, ones that you can mass produce, or ones that you can do, like there's 8 of them for an order of $20 or more. So it's a really budget friendly one, because they're not detailed for me and they're not detailed for you. Okay, so then we have another thing, and I have a peach sampler, a pumpkin sampler I posted yesterday. If anyone is interested, I do mail kits out. This is a card kit. The sampler is a $30, but we chose to do it sampler and cards, which is a $40 order. You do need some soft succulent and pale papaya, at least those two colors for coloring in. The stamp set is $22. So if you bought those two and this, that's $40, which is what you need, and you get to do the sampler and these 4 cards. I have some people, though, that have already done the sampler. We did the sampler at card kit class. So here's the sampler. I can't get the whole thing in it, but oh my gosh, is it pretty. We did this at Stamp and Zip, and they just loved it. So they wanted some cards, so therefore I'm offering it as 4 cards for the $20 or $20 order, or the $40 for all of it. Now, the difference, why do you get 8 cards here versus 4 cards here? If you look at all the detail and all the cutting out and all the die cuts, that makes all the difference, okay? All right, I have to, you know, Jim does my work for me and helps me cut things, so I gotta make sure I got enough there for him. Okay, so now let's move on to today's card. This is it. This is it, and it is beautiful. This is going to be an easel card, and let's see if it'll show. I don't know if it'll show on the camera or not, so let's see. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Great. This is an easel card. You can see how it goes together. It's very easy, very easy to put together. Not a difficult one at all. So I'm going to go on ahead and work through this one. And I want you to know that I did decide I wanted a place to write in. Really, you don't want to write here and then have it down here showing. Because the idea is that the person can freestand this card someplace on their desk or at their home or someplace so that they remember that you took the time to do this. So you really don't want to write their name or your signature down here. So instead, all I did was I put a piece in here above one of those folds. And I'm going to talk you all the way through it to show you how I made this card. You also, if you wanted a bigger spot, you could literally turn it over and put a big piece on the back of ivory or white and then go on ahead and write back here. Either way will work. So I am going to work with this one today to show it to you. My kids were up this weekend. They came up to help us, and I'm so very thankful that they had them. They came and they helped us do yard work. They helped us clear the garden off and put all the cages away, the tomato cages. They helped us get everything put away for the winter, garden hose and everything. My container pots, which I do a lot of, those are emptied and gone and put away. And then they helped us cover the water garden, which is a huge undertaking. And I am so thankful that all 4 of them were here today, this weekend, to help us. And so I want to send them a couple of cards to thank them so they know how special they are to us. So these are the die cuts. The sparkle of the season actually lends itself to all 3 holidays. There is bats, so it works for Happy Halloween. And there is a greeting that says, I think it says something like that. Yep, it does. Happy Halloween is the greeting. Then you have the pumpkin and the leaves. And there's, oh, I know what that is. It may be a flower, but it's a broomstick to me. Hello there. Does anyone else see that as a broomstick? I think it is. I think it's a broomstick. Okay. All right. So we've got that. And you've got one wreath that has just fall leaves on it, or it could be spring leaves or whatever. Good, Jamie. I'm glad you could see it too. All right. Then there had one with the stars, which could actually be a sweet little baby card. Then you have the pine branches, and you have the different pieces that go along with it. So this is a real versatile group. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And I used it. Here's a snowflake stamp, bats, leaves, stars. And whether or not that is a broom, it works for me. So this is the card we're going to use today. And I'm going to start off with the DSP, this one. And this one is it Blackberry Beauty. Now, Blackberry Beauty, you either love it or you don't. I mean, there's some people that really, they're like, yeah, because it is kind of different. I fell in love with this. So you have this piece, which is the one that we'll be using today. And then you have this one on the back. You have this one and this one. You have this one, which I have seen some beautiful sympathy cards in. Really pretty sympathy cards. Okay, and I love this one. Even though it's not a traditional color for Christmas, I think that is so rich. So pretty with the holly leaves. Then you have this one, which I love, and that one, which I don't. But it would work for a man's card. Not that I wouldn't want to give a man a pretty card, but, you know, yeah, that doesn't do much for me. And that one is okay, but I really like this one on the back. So that's the thing about Stampin' Up's papers. You have a choice, and and there's one more. There's this one with the owl, and then there's that one. So even though you may not like one side, chances are you're going to like the other. There's rarely do I ever have anything that I go, I don't like either of these. The other thing that I'm using is the brush metallic. And I got to tell you, I had problems figuring out which is which. There are 3 brush metallic pieces in here. I had to come out into the sunlight. Now maybe with the kitchen light, yeah, I can see the difference now. There's those 2. But back in my room, I could not see the difference. In fact, kept the wrong piece at one point. Okay? So there are 3 of them. One is a bronze. One is a gold. And I think they call the other one copper, which I think is kind of redundant, but copper 32. Let me double check. Yep, here it is. So brush metallic on page 32, and it says you get 2 each, so you get 6 of them, and it is bronze, copper, and gold. And they don't even help because they didn't lay them out in a way that you could even tell for sure which is which. I thought maybe they laid them out in that order, but I don't think they do. So we are going to use what I consider as the gold and the copper. And we're going to take this one off to the side. All right, so let's get started. When I went to pick paper this morning, I wanted to use this piece, but I didn't like Rich Razzleberry with that. I don't know if you do. It just, in person, they don't match real well. Okay? My comments keep turning off on me. Yes, it is pretty. Jamie, you're right. It is very pretty. Okay? I just didn't feel that really matched the best. So then I went with this one. And I like Blackberry Bliss. I think it's richer looking. I just like that color combo with it. Let's see if it shows on the camera. Yeah, I think that's a better one. Hi, Rhonda. Nice to have you with us too. So we're going to put off the Rich Razzleberry, and we're going to start with the Blackberry. We're going to go with Blackberry Bliss, and I want it to be 11 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. So when I am home working, I have 3 paper cutters that are Stampin' Ups. I usually use one for scoring. Jim uses one to cut. I actually use a big guillotine one to cut paper. And I don't care for this one. This is the new one. And it's not just got the baby fed. Well, Rhonda, that's important. You got to feed the babies. I have to make myself use this one because it's backwards. When we have the old ones, the scoring tool was at the top and the cutting blade was at the bottom. And I know I could take them out and reverse them, but I just went on ahead and left it. So we scored that one at 5 1/2. And now we're going to score this one at 2 3/4. So you're going to have 2 score lines on your card. You're going to have 3 sections. One rectangle, second rectangle is the same size, and then you have a large one that's equal to the 2 of them together. Okay? All right, so I'm going to fold this one. And I actually, look, I brought this for change. I actually got my bone folder in. Hi, Lori. Connie, it's nice to have you both with us. Connie, congratulations on winning yesterday. She won the bundle with the evergreen punch for doing the mystery card. Okay, so you have a piece that looks like this. 2 folds, one in the middle, and this is the front of the card, the one that's folded, okay? All right, now I'm gonna start with the inside of my card, and I wanted to use that gold. Guys, it's a rarity. You will see it on occasion, but most of the time I try to cut something out of the center, because when I put this on top, nobody will know that that's gone. But that's expensive paper. But because I was running short of time this morning trying to design on the whim, I didn't get it done. So you will see here in a moment that I have a piece that I didn't cut anything out of. Okay, this one is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and the piece of DSP is 4 by 5 1/4. And now I'm going to go on ahead and adhere that to the inside of my card. Just like so. There is no up and down design to the DSP. That one is not one that shows any pattern one way or the other, so you can turn it either way. Okay. All right, so that's the inside. We're going to go on ahead, and because I cut a smaller section, it is 5 3/8 by 2 5/8. 2 5/8. Because that section is 5 1/2 by 2 3/4. So I had to cut it down by 1/8. And I wanted it to just kind of be the same as this, everything uniform, okay? All right, we're gonna set that off to the side for now. Here we go, there's that piece of the gold that I did not get anything cut out of. And I'm gonna go on ahead and put it down. Oh, this is gonna kill me. That paper is expensive. Although it may seem like a lot, I will tell you that gold foils or any of the foil papers on Stampin' Up, they are 2 sheets for $5, and this packet is 6 sheets for $15. So you see it's the same price. They have not gone up. It's just a bigger packet and more variety. I will tell you that I have also used foil from like Hobby Lobby, and it curls something fierce. This one doesn't. This one lays fairly good, but it curls, and it to the point that sometimes it's almost impossible to get it to lay flat on the card. So just something I discovered and observed. You may find different. Okay, same thing. It is 4 by 5 1/4 on the DSP. And this card piece is the exact same size as the front of the card. I cut it exactly the same. When you pull it up and you do your easel, you don't want this card on top to be smaller than the card is underneath. You want it to be the same size. So this one is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And you leave no edges, no margins around the outside. It goes completely on the front of the card. Okay, just like that. So now, I can hear you now saying, Lola, you did something wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I should have only taped from here over. So give me a minute. I've got a fade to fix that. Okay, I'm gonna go 2 3/4. Yeah. By 5 1/2. And watch this. It's going here and here and there. There you go. And now I can fix it again. And again, what you want to do, and what I didn't do, is only put it on the bottom half, because it's this part that needs to be stuck. So now let's line it up again. Guys, I make mistakes right along with everybody else. And trim this up. In fact, I probably make more than other people because I'm trying to think and talk and everything at one time. Okay? Just a little bit of hangover there. All right, here we go. Probably more mistakes than most, because when you're trying to talk and do, it's hard. Now it will stand, and nobody will know the difference on that. Okay? All right, next, let's set this one off to the side. So we're gonna start, we have to build our wreath. I have 2 pieces of the wreath, and this is that copper one, and this is the brushed gold. And I am not the best at always punching things out. I could punch it out, but number 1, it doesn't give me a lot of place to glue. And number 2, you think about a grapevine wreath. You would see multiple limbs of the grapevine wreath round and round. If all of your wreath was like that, it would be pretty airy. And then you put it on top of another one that's pretty airy, and it's not going to be very full. I want it to be fuller and more lush. So I'm going to go on ahead and leave these pieces in. If they pop out for you, if you want them popped out, by all means do it. That is up to you. So I did 2 of them, and I'm going to take and I'm going to put a circle underneath, because I wanted a greeting on the front of the card. But I didn't want to put a greeting under the wreath, because if I did, then it would be a greeting down here and a greeting here. So I went on ahead and I took a layered circle. I don't remember which one it is. It's probably about 2 to 2 1/4. It's one of those. And by the time I put my wreaths on it, I don't think you see the edges of the circle. When you are not sure what kind of die cuts to get, always get your basics. Get your circles. Get anything that's basic. Much easier to use those than it is to always use flowers and leaves and such. All right, I'm going to start with the greeting that says "Thankful for you," and put right in the middle using Blackberry Bliss. And while we're doing it, let's just do the greeting on the inside, and that way that greeting, the ink dries well, because sometimes they will stay wetter than other colors. How many of you have ever noticed too, do you have your ink pad, it's the darker colors, it's Blackberry Bliss, it's, I think my Cajun Craze has done it, Cherry Cobbler on occasion has done it, where it actually gets this residue around the outside. It's kind of gross. After a while, you have to just literally, you have to send it off and get a new one, because it just doesn't, it comes off on your stamps. Hi, Denise Quinley. Nice to have you with us. So be careful. If you start to see that, you may get some little fuzzies, and when that happens, you're going to want to just get rid of it. You could take a knife and try and scrape it off a little bit like a plastic knife, but even then I've had problems getting it all off. Okay, may the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home. Those are our greetings, and I'm going to set that one off to the side so it air dries good. Okay, this one here on this circle, I'm just going to go on ahead and put it down with tape. I'm going to put it in the middle of my card, hopefully. I don't measure. I'm not an, I just don't. You get me the way I am. I eyeball, okay? All right, now I'm going to take my silicone mat, and I'm going to put the darker of the two wreaths on the bottom. I want the copper wreath on the bottom so that it looks more shaded underneath. And I'm just going to put some glue along it. And I'm staying to the ring. I'm not coming out to put any glue on the leaves. I want the leaves all freestanding so that they can add some dimension to it and some depth. Okay. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go on ahead and do the second one. Get them both glued up and let it set up just a hair so that it doesn't ooze through. Okay. Just like so. All right. If anybody has a trick to tell me how I can get my comments to stay on all the time, I'd really appreciate it, because they come, they go, and then they're gone. Okay, I'm going to go on ahead now and take this first one, and I'm going to glue it down so that it covers the edge of the circle as best I can. Because it's foil, I kind of have to hold it a little more. This one's not as bad as the next one. Now you see what I'm saying, how you were going to see the edging of it? We're going to fix that though, because we're going to rotate this one so it is not directly the same on top. Okay, so since I have this piece up here, I'm going to go on ahead and put this one down here and rotate a hair so my leaves are not laying on top. And this one I have to hold. The foil doesn't want to just glue. You have to give some pressure to it. Okay. All right, so there it is. Okay, next we're going to take some little leaves. They have little die-cut leaves inside of the stamp set, the dies. And they have holly leaves, and they have little leaves that are kind of like oak or elm leaves on it. So we're going to go on ahead and cut. I've cut several different ones, and I did cut them with rich razzleberry and the blackberry, and I'll show you why. All right, so let's start with the blackberry, and I'm just going to take it and put it on with a glue dot, and I'm just going to kind of stick them in places. So these are the tweezers that Chris found for us on Amazon, and I love them. I'm more apt to use them for this though than a bow. I use them for a bow some, but this is what I like to use them for, is these little intricate pieces. Because then it's easier to put them on here, get them on the glue dots, get them off, and put them on. And I'm going to put one more. At least one more. I may go two. Now, that one's stuck. There is no getting around it. I was going to maybe try and stick it down under there. There. Okay. And one more here. Like so. All right. I got one glue dot stuck to my fingernail. My fingernails are almost the color, aren't they? But I looked at that and I thought, you know, that's kind of pretty in your face, those black leaves. So now I'm going to come back with a little rich razzleberry and tone it down by just putting a leaf on top or off to the side. So it's not quite so bold with the rich razzleberry. We are almost done with this card, guys. This was a real fun one to do. Since I have two different sizes of leaves, I'm just kind of turning it every which way. And I also am going to be short one leaf. So I'm going to have to, before I send this card, I'm going to have to add one leaf because I only have two more rich razzleberries. So I've either dropped one on the way coming from my craft room or it's on my Big Shot and I didn't catch it. All right. So we're going to go on ahead and do this. I like that look better. I like the rich razzleberry and the blackberry together. Okay, so I will finish this up when I go back to my room and I'll put one more leaf on here with the rich razzleberry. Now we need to finish this and we are done. You're going to take your dimensionals and you are going to put some dimensionals underneath. I like to keep my dimensionals in, I put them in one of these boxes. Of course, I go through dimensionals more than a lot of people with classes and everything. So every time I open up a class, we start out with fresh dimensionals and then I end up using all the pieces through the week or the 2 weeks before the next class. So I'm just going to go on ahead and put all the way in the middle. And there's a reason why I'm not making sure that I'm at least not getting one in the top. I can put one on the bottom. I can do this, but I can't do that because I want to be able to tuck this in. So I'm going to go on ahead and pull my dimensional pieces off. Denise, you had a niece with a beautiful, beautiful wedding pictures in Iceland. They were absolutely stunning. So incredible. Okay. Okay, whenever you call, you cannot, I can't talk to you. I am always recording on this, so you can't call if I'm recording. I can't answer your phones. So since I got that one upside down, I'm gonna fix it. It's still a beautiful card, even though I messed up. Don't worry about it. And it's fixable. Here we go again. Look. Okay. I'm gonna cut this up. The side. Done. Done. Fixed again. Make sure I got it in the right spot this time. Yes. Somebody was probably calling me to tell me, you got your card upside down. That's funny. Guys, this is what live videoing is. If you can't handle mistakes like that, you got problems because we gotta fix it on the roll. Okay, just like so. Now we got it. Just like this. I'm going to put this down. And the reason I didn't want it dimensional, because I want to be able to tuck right there. And I didn't want that dimensional that would maybe keep it from laying there straight. And there's the card. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I gave you some comedy errors. Obviously, I am more of a sitcom person. Comedy and everything in one whole thing. 30 seconds, 30 minutes. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn this around. Give me a second. Okay. All right, so I messed up, but that's okay. That's the way it works out. Hi, Sue. Nice to have you join us. So there's our card, Easel card. Easily put down, goes in a regular envelope that we mail, and then the recipient can open it up, and they can do this and lay their card and have it someplace that they can show that beautiful card. And inside, I put a little bit of a piece of paper so that you can write and sign the card. All right. So whoever tried to call me is now calling Jim, so they're talking to him. So thanks for being with here. I hope you didn't mind my laughing and my mistakes, but that's just the way it is. It is what it is. All right. Love you, each of you. Take care. Bye-bye. And you're right, Rhonda. She says we need to know how to fix. So say it was on purpose. It was on purpose. I did it on purpose. Bye, guys.